That's a good one. You were a
That's a gotcha, ain't it?
yeah. Have a wonderful Father's Day. You were a tough sergeant when I was growing up, but a very good dad. Good job. Oh, that's funny.
She was tough when she was growing up,
Oh, I have no doubt Mom was a handful.
especially when them little peckerheads started coming around, scuffing her shoes on. Tilly used to polish the floors. They'd stand there, wouldn't look in the eye, and scuffle their feet. And then I'd tell her that guy's an asshole, no good. She said, "How do you know? You don't even know him." I said, "'Cause I'm enough of an asshole myself to recognize another one when I see him." Yeah.
So, I wanted you to tell us like some stories, like for my kids or their kids, like when I used to come and visit your house and stuff, and me four wheeling and stuff, because they'll just laugh at that stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Give you a 2x4 nails and
you just give
and
me
a
a
hammer.
Just give me a 2x4.
Fill them up full of nails.
And I would just hammer away all day long on it, huh?
Yeah.
And then you used to give me water to paint or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was about me and Home Improvement now compared to Home Improvement then?
Yeah.
Now I pay the painter to come.
And I take you to the supermarket. You're only a little shit. And you'd be reading all the labels on all the stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'd say, "Where'd you learn how to read?" He says, "Sesame Street." You remember Sesame Street?
Oh, yeah. I remember watching it. I don't remember like learning how to read from Sesame Street. That's funny.
He said to me one day, you know how to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
I asked you how to spell it.
Yeah. No, you asked me if I knew how to spell
Oh,
it.
okay. What did you say?
I said, no. And then you showed me how.
I showed you how to spell supercal. I couldn't even spell it now.
You did then.
Wow.
People walk by and they would be looking at you, and then they'd look at me and smile, and I'd just shake my head. I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I remember just like running errands with you and stuff. I do remember the first time I remember hearing the word shit though. It was you.
Probably.
You were in your Bronco and I was in the Bronco with you. I might have been sitting in the driver's seat and you were in the back and you were working on something, I don't know what, and you were leaning down, maybe like working on your CB radio or the center console or something.
Something.
And I just remember that you were sitting in there and you were bending over and you went to go get up and you hit your head on the roll bar over the top of the thing and you went, "Shit!" God damn it. I was like, "Papa, don't swear."
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's one word you didn't have to learn on the street.
No, I learned it right at home. The other one that I remember is, not word, but I remember was when you guys got me that BB gun, and I shot it a bunch of times, like at the Pheasant Club, when you guys would you and Ernie would go to the Pheasant Club, and
Yeah.
I'd go with you, and, you'd let me, like, shoot a can or a bottle or something. And, I had it out front or something, and I went inside to go to the bathroom, and I left it laying on the street, I left it laying on the sidewalk, and when I went back outside, some kid had stolen it.
Yeah.
And we got in the car and drove down towards the school, and there they were carrying it, and you got out of the car, and they gave it right back.
Sure, they were going to get their ass kicked if they didn't.
Yeah. I still can't believe that you found them and found it. I don't remember if I was crying or not when I walked outside. It was gone. It was like a daisy. If I remember right, it was like you like cocked it or whatever, kind of like the old Winchester.
Yeah.
And that was what put the air in it to shoot it.
Yeah.
Shoot it out. Too funny.
You remember when you caught your first fish?
No. Where was it?
I don't know. We were camped at. It was at a campground, but it was not an improved campground. It was pretty rustic, and there was a little creek there, and the spillway for the dam was just up the road a little bit. It had been raining, and well, we were fishing in the creek down below, and you caught a fish the day before.
Mm.
And that night it rained, and it rained, and it rained. So I guess they opened up the spill.
Were you in the camper?
I think we were in that little trailer.
Your little trailer that you had.
Yeah.
It was like an aristocrat or something like that.
Something like that. I forgot. Yeah. It was only about 13, 14 feet long.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It was a palace when I was a kid because Mom and Dad didn't have one.
Yeah, we woke up in the morning, it was right up to the floorboards of the trailer, the water was.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So I said to myself, we might have a problem.
Wow. So
but we didn't. Luckily, I remembered where, the road went and the high ground was.
Mm.
So we got out of there.
I don't remember that at all. So you had to get from the trailer into the... What did you tow with? Your Bronco?
No.
Or your blue truck?
The blue truck. The truck that Ernie wrecked.
The Ford.
Ford, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like powder blue.
Yeah.
Baby blue or whatever, and
Yeah,
it was white.
Nice old truck.
Did it have... I think it had 3 on the tree? Or no, did it have a stick? I don't remember.
It had a stick.
Yeah, that one had a stick. Your Bronco was 3 on the tree.
Yeah.
One of my not a friend, but one of my coworkers that worked in the Bay Area, he's selling a pristine Bronco that he's restored, a 71 or 72. Fenders not cut and everything. It's like red and white. $24,000.
Probably worth it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's totally worth it.
I saw a guy in a parking lot up there at Walmart in Crescent City. He had an old 70 Bronco. I told him I had a 71 at one time.
Yours was a 71.
But mine was, the running boards were cut, and the fenders were cut, but it had, skirts. It was,
yeah.
It was hard, unless you knew, it was hard to tell that they were cut. But, and then Ernie had that Jeep that he restored.
His, not his flat fender, his 44.
His flat fender, yeah.
Okay, because he had his Jeep, he had a Bronco before that.
He had a Bronco too, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, his Robert was riding with me one time. We were going over the Sierra Truck or one of them trails, and at one stretch of the run, he had to run down on a creek, in a creek.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some big rocks in there, and some you could get over and some you had to go around. And I got on one that I didn't see,
Yeah.
and I got high centered on the differential. And Robert says, "I'm going to tell my daddy, you hit a rock. You hit a rock with it." And I said, "Robert, zip it."
I just saw him.
Did you?
Yeah, well, they usually go to the Highlander poker run on Father's Day weekend, and I guess Ernie hurt his back, so he couldn't go. He had to stay in camp. He like bent over or something, and his back went out.
Yeah.
But Robert was there with his brand new Jeep that he's been building, and he was there with he took his buddy's truck. I saw it on Facebook. So he had his buddy's big rig, 18-wheeler with a flatbed, and they had like three rigs on it that they towed from wherever, Susanville or wherever he's from, where he lives.
Orville, yeah.
Orville area. And so Emily and I were coming back from South Shore in Tahoe, so we came Highway 50, and then Placerville, we took Highway 49 back over to Auburn.
Yeah.
And when we got to Cool outside of Georgetown, I see this big grid truck, a big blue truck, and I go, with all these rigs on it, and I go, God, that looks like Robert's truck. And there, standing on the bed, talking on his cell phone, there was Robert. So I honked the horn, and he saw me, and I pulled over, and he came running over, and Emily met him for the first time, and she said, "You don't look anything like Ernie."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's got that, his little goatee beard.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And Ernie's so tall, and he took Yvonne's height. Pretty funny.
Yeah, he was driving a logging truck for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, he posts some pictures.
Yeah.
I think he was actually over in the Georgetown area doing logging over.
Yeah.
Because that fire burned 70,000 acres or 90,000 acres.
Yeah, and they log out all the dead ones.
And 35,000 of it was, I think 20,000 or something was SPI private, and the other 17,000 was U.S. Forest, and they're literally logging it as fast as they can.
Yeah.
We met a guy last summer at Georgetown, and we were eating lunch there, and he older guy, and he drives a big ass D9 tractor or whatever, and makes roads and stuff, and he says they can't get anybody to log. They have all these logs to go. They have to import Mexicans from Mexico because people who live here won't do it. Is that the most unbelievable thing?
They probably get so much money for not doing nothing that what the hell they want to work for?
Yeah.
I know of a couple around here that are on disability and there ain't a goddamn thing wrong with them. They work, they do shit that they want to do, build. Well, one guy, he builds, like he repaired this deck after we first moved in.
Mm-hmm.
Did a good job.
Yeah. So how much did I like four-wheeling when I was a little kid?
You did quite a bit.
I know, but how much did I like it?
Well, you used to like it.
Except when we got stuck.
Well, you worried too much, Yeah, I remember one time we got stuck in a swampy area. And Ernie took the wedge cable and wrapped it around a sapling and engaged the wedge to pull us out, and me driving with it in gear. We were stuck. It pulled the tree out of the ground.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How'd you get out? Was I there?
I don't remember, Cage. You could have been. 'Cause we used to take you quite a bit.
I remember the one time we got stuck at Blue Lake, and I wasn't too happy about that. When my dad got stuck going over a log or something, it was all swampy, muddy.
Yeah, I remember that time.
It was late at night too.
Yeah.
You had your little red Jeep.
Yeah.
Then your little flat fender, I think it was.
Because I went one way and he went the other way, and I said to Tilly at that time, I said, "That's the wrong way to go."
Oh, it was. If I remember right, we ended up staying the night there.
Yeah, you did. And in the morning, I came back over and I knew where you were because I knew that place. You're stuck.
Yeah. I think my dad was high centered on a log or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. High centered, all right, but the wheels weren't even touching the ground.
That's high centered. How did you get it off? I don't remember.
Pulled them off with the winch.
Oh, okay. Was Ernie there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember there was a few of us.
Yeah.
That might have been the time that Ernie wanted to know who took his fork. And it was in his hand. I remember that. Yvonne was like, "Ernie, it's in your hand."
Yeah.
Who took my fork? Who took my fork?
Yeah, Ernie.
Now you can drive to the dam in a car. It's really kind of sad.
Yeah. That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, where we used to go hunting there at West Point, up at the head of Moore Creek, I had that old blue Ford, and we used to stop at the bottom of the hill and fill it up rocks, just fill up the bed with rocks on top of our camping gear
Yeah.
to weight it down, and then crawl up go up there in Granny Low
Mm-hmm.
all the way, and we camp. And the Forest Service guys come around, you know, on horses, and they want to know, how the hell did you get that truck up here? Drove it.
Yeah, didn't fly it in with a helicopter.
He says, the first time for everything. Drove it.
Now times would change. Now they would arrest you.
Yeah. Yeah, and up there at the head of Moore Creek one time, we were camped. And we went deer hunting. I had old Joe Dog on it. Remember, there was that English pointer, the white.
You're Joe-san, your dog.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember him.
yeah. So we're go hunting. And old Joe Dog, she used to find deer and bring them back, just herd them right back towards us, you know. And I hear her, she's barking, and I said, she's on a deer. And then I said to Ernie, she ain't on no deer. She's in one place, she ain't moving. So we go over there, see what the hell's going on. And there was a bear up a tree.
Oh my gosh.
She got a bear treed, and she had this bear up a tree, and it was a nice brown colored, cinnamon brown.
Yeah.
Ernie said, I'm going to shoot it. He said, I want that coat. Look at that coat. I said, Ernie, leave the goddamn bear alone. He said, no, Dad. He says, I want it. I said, I'm telling you, leave it alone. I said, if you shoot that bear, it's yours. You can gut it, skin it, get it back to camp. Don't talk to me about it no more. I said, me and Joe Dog are going to go hunting. So I took off, me and a dog, and we would finish making our trip around hunting. Mm-hmm. And I get back to camp, and there's two guys camp, just to, set up their camp a little bit beyond us. And they had two horses, that they packed their stuff in. And they said, you get up here with that truck? Yeah. He said, how'd you do it? You pull it up with a horse or something? I said, no, just drove it. They didn't believe it either. And he says, you all by yourself? And I said, no. I said, my son's with me. I said, the dumb shit, he shot a bear down there. And I told him not to, and he did. And I said, he's got that bear. And it's his problem, not mine. And he said, you left him down there all by himself? I said, yeah. He said, how old is he? I said, I don't know, 14, 15.
Oh, he was a young guy.
Yeah. And he said, you left him by himself? He says, what if he gets lost? I said, he won't get lost. He knows where he is. He's been around there enough to know where he is. And I said, if he gets lost, I guess we'll have to find him.
That parenting like that doesn't happen anymore.
I know it. I know it.
Now it's called helicopter parents because they hover over their kids and.
Oh shit! Probably in today's age, I'd probably been in jail already. Really?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd have never made it in today's age, I can tell you.
I'm barely making it.
Huh?
I said I'm barely making it.
Yeah, one time Barbara was in high school and she wanted to borrow my car. I had an old car that I used to drive out to the base and leave when I went on a trip. Mm-hmm. Wanted to borrow it and go back to school to get some books that she forgot. Yeah, you can borrow it. I said, do not stop at Sid's. Do not. Okay. Well, and then in a little while, here comes a cop car in front of the house. The cop gets out, comes to the door, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is this son of a bitch want? And he says, I brought your daughter home because she was afraid to come home. She's afraid to come home? Why? He said, well, there was a little fender bender down at Sid's. And I said, that's why.
Oh.
She hit Joe Danboyce's daughter's, or Joe Danboyce's car, that Joe's daughter was driving. It nicked the hubcap, just to put a little dent in the hubcap. Didn't knock it off or nothing. Danboyce's daughter was raising hell. So that's when somebody called the cops, and the cops come. And that's when I'm afraid to go home. My dad is going to be. So anyway, the cop brings her home. She comes up to the house. She was sitting in a cop car, in the cruiser, while the cop was talking to me. And then she figured it's all right, the policeman is there. She comes up. And about that time, Bob Lawley, I remember, don't know if you...
I've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah.
I met him, actually.
One of the assholes that I told her was an asshole, which he was driving my car, and that pissed me off big time. So here she come walking up. The cop is there, she's smiling. And I said, we had a little excitement, huh? Yeah. And I said, I grabbed her by the arm, and she probably still got a handprint on her ass. I don't know. Because, boy, I gave her a smack on the ass, and it was a good one. I felt it and I heard it. And that cop grabbed my arm. He said, hey, cut that out. And I said, you let go of my arm or you're going to be next. So he gets on his radio and calls for backup. And about that time, Tilly's going berserk. Because I'm creating a mess out in front, you know. All the neighbors are looking. George is going to fight with that cop. Dumb, stupid asshole. But when I get pissed, I don't think too good. And then Bob Lawley said, hey, Mr. Herrick, you going to give me a ride back? And I said, fuck you, walk.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So I guess that's how come the donkey is there.
Kids have it easy these days, right? I guess.
Well, yeah. If I ever hit her in front of a cop today...
Oh, no, they would have slawed
that
you
child abuse would have had me.
Oh, yeah, they would have walked you off to jail.
Yeah.
Did his backup ever come?
Yeah, they came, and then he, you know, just... It was over by that time, by the time the backup. So, and he was talking at his mic that it's all right. It's cooled down.
I'm sure she was grounded for a while.
Huh?
I'm sure Mom was grounded for a while.
She was. She sat gingerly for a while, too.
Oops.
Yeah, she was a handful. You remember them when the girls wore them hoop skirts?
Oh, I don't. They didn't wear them when I was around, but I remember seeing them.
You was around. It was in that period. You probably just weren't paying attention because
no, I was
you
3.
didn't give a shit what they were wearing. You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, another occasion where she did something that kind of upset me, and I told her, you know, you better start paying attention to what I say. And she said, and who do you think you are? And went flouncing down the hall, and then skirts were hitting each side of the wall when she's walking down the hall, going back to her bedroom.
Hers was the farthest one in the left, right?
Yeah. So she gets down there and slammed the door and locked it. And I was right behind her, and when that door was locked, I just gave it a kick, put my foot right through the friggin' door. Jesus Christ. And I told her, I'll show you who the hell I am.
The door didn't open, but your foot went through.
Yeah. It didn't open after that, because she figured, well, if I don't open it,
yeah,
the hinges are going to be next.
Yeah. I remember she lost her telephone, too, for a while. Or
Yeah. 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 Well, we had a lot of fun.
And Ernie, he was like building hot rods or something like that. Was his thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, he was always modifying them, and spoofing them up, like putting chrome bolts on everything, and
So
really,
he was in a chrome, but way before the flat fender.
yeah, yeah. He'd drive me out to the base when I go out on a trip, and then he'd bring the truck back, and he used to drive it over there to Napa to the college, JC when he was going to school over there. And then he'd come home and he'd work on it, fixing it.
Even though it wasn't broken.
Oh yeah, no, he was making it better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had to redo what he'd done.
Oh boy.
No, but that was okay. I never got mad about that. Because the guy next door said to me one time, I come back from a trip, and he said, "You better have a talk with that kid of yours." I said, "Which one?" He said, "That boy." He said, "Every time you go on a trip, he got that truck, parts of that truck scattered all over the road and on a driveway." And he said, "One of these days, he ain't going to get it back together again." And I said, "Well, if he can't, I can." And I said, "And if I can't, Covey's Garage is right down the corner that they can." I'd rather have them doing that than screwing around town looking for something to do.
Yeah.
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 Pat was his name. He couldn't understand that. But I didn't care because that was good. It was a good experience for him, for Ernie.
Yeah, he knew how to take it apart and put it back together again.
Yeah.
Now kids don't even know how to change the oil.
Huh?
I said now they don't even know how to change the oil.
I know it. I know it.
Although Keenan does. He changes the oil in his car, which is good.
The old Ernie, one time in that old Ford again, we were camping, and it was raining. So I had a tarp. I just put a tarp over us. And Ernie says, "I'm wet." And I said, "I'm wet too, so just shut up and go to sleep. The rain will stop pretty soon." So a couple hours later, it's still dark. He said, "I got to go to the bathroom." And I said, "Well, go. Get out of the truck and go." And it had the tailgate had those hooks on it with a chain.
Mm-hmm.
The chains weren't on the tailgate. The tailgate was up. The chains weren't hooked.
Yeah, he's getting bigger.
Yeah, no, he's good size. He's a keeper. Yeah, he's a good size. Good.
Funny face.
That reminds me of a story when I worked at the prison.
Yeah.
There was a little Mexican there. He was a problem.
It's his back.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a problem. And this other CO, correctional officer, went down there one day and it was calm him down until, and he mouthed off at him. And I forget the guy's name. Anyway, he grabbed him by the front of his shirt and picked him up with one hand and put him against the wall. He said, did you hear what I said? And you understand what I said? And the Mexican, see, yeah, senor, yeah, I understand. So then he just dropped him. Told him to get in his cell. He got in there. God, I can't remember that guy's name. Anyway, the next day he comes to work, and underneath his uniform shirt, he had a shirt with a big Superman symbol. So when he got down to that Mexican's cell, he took his shirt off and stood there in front of the cell, and that Mexican cracked up. Oh. He was laughing so hard he could hardly stand up.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What did you have to take Charlie Manson to court for? I remember Grammy.
I don't know. Shit, that guy, he was in so much shit.
It was for something that he did in the jail or whatever.
Yeah.
Or in prison.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot.
I remember there was like a picture in the newspaper of you with court with him, and Grammy said that photo and 25 cents got you a cup of coffee.
Yeah. I don't know. I had a lot of fun times there.
You were there for like 10 years, weren't you?
Yeah, 11. Almost 12. I just, at 55, you could retire if you had 10 years of service. Hmm. But, I was on what they call the Goon Squad. We got all the choice jobs, like taking Charlie Manson and Huey Newton and them kind of people to courts and funerals and everything. But I kind of liked it.
You took that one guy to a funeral or whatever, or for his mom or something? Or
yeah.
He was like a Black Panther or something?
Yeah, exactly. Huey Newton, yeah.
Oh, it was Huey Newton?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Leader
of the Black Panthers. Yeah, me and Weird Willie. Weird Willie, Bill Heiss. I call him Weird Willie because I don't care what we were doing. Something would happen because of Willie. Like this time here at the funeral. I was standing in the doorway, just as you come in from the chapel entrance. The church was right in front of me. And I told Bill, I said, go over against that wall so you can watch him, and because all of the Panthers were around him. We were like a couple of Oreo cookies in a... So I'm standing in the hall, and I get a tap on my shoulder. And I'm saying to myself, that ain't right. The guy should have said something before that or made some kind of a noise. So I was already thinking that the shit is going to hit the fan. So I started to move slowly so I could get myself in position so I could kick him in the balls anyway when I got turned around. And change his attitude, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I get turned around, and I'm looking at the biggest, blackest son of a bitch I ever seen in my life. I'm looking at just almost into his belt buckle. That's how big he was. And he says, I just wanted you to know that you weren't alone. But before he said that, he put his hand inside of his coat, and I thought, the gun is going to come out now. And I was all primed to fire him one man. I was in position and everything. And he pulls his hand out with a badge. And he says, I'm Sergeant so-and-so with the Oakland Police Department. He says, I just wanted you to know that you weren't alone.
Oh,
I said, you son of a bitch, you were almost alone. I almost had a heart attack.
Wow. I can't believe that they let Huey Luton go to a funeral in Oakland with only 2 guards.
His mother...
But only 2 guards?
And not armed either. We couldn't take any arms with us.
That has not good written all over it.
The captain, we had to walk by his office to go into our office. And when I walked by his office and he goes like this, I know either he's got a good job, not that he wants done, or he's going to chew my ass out. I'm going to get a, what'd you do that for?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's how come we got to do that. And when he tells me, pick whoever you want to go with you. So I pick Weird Willie. Well, I know that, no matter what happens, he'll be right there in the middle of it, with me.
I can't believe two white guys in Oakland at a funeral with a bunch of Black Panthers with no gun. I mean, very little keeping him from going back to prison.
Oh, nothing to keeping him going back. But I told him before we began, when I first took him down and got him dressed out to take him down there, I said, Huey, let me make one thing clear right now. We're going with you to your mama's funeral. Now you can honor your mama and behave yourself, or you and your buddies can think that they're going to beat us up and rescue you. I said, they don't have to do that. You can just walk away. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So he said, no. He said, no. He said, it's going to be cool. It's cool. I said, yeah, I'll bet you it's going to be cool. Anyway, we get down there.
He was so famous, they would have caught him again in no time.
Oh, yeah. But, it just was in the interim. Well, he pointed out to me when we were in a cemetery, the big tall building down by the Oakland Bay. He said, that whole top floor, he said, that belongs to the Panthers. He said, that belongs to us. He said, you take me there after services. He said, we got to eat anyway. He said, they're going to have a big spread. Anything you want to drink? Fine ladies, he said.
Fine ladies.
Fine ladies. He says, white, tan, pure black. He said, whatever you want, you got them. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, Huey. My instructions were to take you to church and then take you to the cemetery. I said, which we done. I said, now we're going to go back home. He said, home? He said, what you talk about, home? I said, Vacaville. He said, oh, man. He says, but I was hungry. I said, well, I'm hungry too. And I said, we're going to get something to eat. He says, I know some good restaurants on the way home. I said, good. I said, keep them in mind. So we're going along, and I see the Doggy Diner. So I pulled in there. He said, "What you stopping here for?" I said, "You said you're hungry. We're going to get something to eat. I'm going to get you a doggy diner special, and I'm going to get one too, just to show you I ain't prejudiced." He shook his head. He says, "Here, I got a big spread, all kinds of fine food, girls, good wine, and all that shit." And he said, he takes me to the doggy diner. So when he got back, that's the first thing he did, was tell all of his buddies that I took him to the doggy diner after the funeral.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't remember whatever happened to that guy. Did he ever get out of prison?
I don't think so. Because, you know, then the Symbionese Liberation Army,
Right.
they were tied up in that too, with Patty Hearst.
He was?
Well, the old Panthers were, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what he had to do with it, but, you know, his organization was in it.
He died in 1989.
Huh?
He died in 1989.
Somebody shoot him?
No, I think he did. He was shot and killed in Oakland, California.
Let me see that goddamn thing.
But you know what? He when he got out of prison, he went back to Berkeley and he got a PhD in social psychology.
Oh, he wasn't stupid,
Yeah.
but he also didn't have too much common sense.
You can, here.
Stokely Carmichael, yeah.
Here. Yeah, August.
African American political activist. Bobby Seale, another one of my favorites. Yeah. Such a loss to the community.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Let's see what it says about his jail time. Yeah, he was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon for stabbing Odell Lee with a steak knife in '64.
Odell, that's another black one, I guess.
He served 6 months in prison. In October of '67, he was out celebrating his release from his probation period. Just before dawn on October 28th, Newton and a friend were pulled over by Oakland police officer John Frey. Realizing who Newton was, Frey called for backup. Fellow officer Herbert Hines arrived. Shots were fired and all three were wounded. Hines testified that the shooting began after Newton was under arrest. One witness testified that Newton shot Frey with Frey's own gun as they wrestled. No gun on either Frey or Newton was found. Newton stated that Frey shot him first, which made him lose consciousness during the incident. Frey was shot 4 times and died within the hour. Hines was in serious condition with 3 bullet wounds. Black Panther David Hillard took Newton to Kaiser, where he was admitted with a bullet wound. Newton was handcuffed to his bed and arrested for the Frey's killing. He was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 2 to 15 years. In 1970, they reduced the conviction and ordered a new trial. After the subsequent trial ended in a hung jury, the district attorney said he would not pursue a 4th trial, so the charges were dismissed. So he was released from prison in 1970.
Yeah.
So that was about the time that because I was born in '62. When did you retire from the Air Force?
64.
Because I remember you used to get up really early in the morning to go to work at the prison because you had a green uniform.
Yeah.
I remember that, like it was in the hall closet.
Yeah, I got out of the Air Force one day and went to work at the prison the next day.
No time off in between?
Nope,
Wow.
nope. No, like a stupid bastard. When I went for my oral interview at the prison while I was still in the service officially,
Oh.
and captain asked me, when I would be ready to go to work after I retired. And I told him the next day, and he said, fine. The day after you retired, he says, come in and report to me.
Oh, wow.
And I went in and reported to him, and I
So
had
you
a job.
did. Wow. So 64 to 74, you worked at Vacaville, or 75.
Yeah.
Because you said 11 years, almost 12.
Yeah.
75, so I would have been... That was that was right around the time that we went to Thanksgiving dinner at the prison. I think we went once or twice.
Yeah.
So that must have been like 73, 74-ish, 75-ish at the latest, obviously.
Robert, he remembers that. He remembers that one of the convicts that was, with minimum custody, was working up there in our canteen.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, Mr. Herrick, I was wearing them cowboy boots then. He said, you got nice boots. He said, nice pointed toes. And I said, yeah, that's better to give you guys a kick in the ass with them. Get your attention. And Robert says, that will do it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
They changed it to a psychiatric prison more than a...
Well, I think that's just designation, because really we had one wing. It was a medical wing, hospital wing, because they were set up in that wing there was no housing in there unless there was a patient. There was guys with wheelchairs that, got beat up and severely injured, you might say, for some reason or other, inside.
Yeah.
And then just recently, all this inmate care, medical care, they said it was all substandard. Shit, them guys, when I worked there, they were getting better care than I was getting, from the military.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.